Hello and welcome back to another episode of the MindSets podcast. Roscoe is joining me today, but if you are not watching, get on screen, get over to YouTube, get over to Spotify, because I'm holding up a delicious looking cake. 100 episodes, everybody.
Yoo!
Really, really crazy that we're here. Also kind of crazy because if you are looking at this, you might think that 1 on the 100 looks a bit weird. That's because it's technically a 7. But seemingly everybody that has candles on their birthday, because like who actually gets a birthday cake over the age of 20?
That does look like a big one.
All the ones were sold out. So
You've done 700 episodes.
I've done 700 episodes. I
Oh,
went from 99 to 700. Honestly, recommend it. It's the easiest shortcut is to just change the number. I'm sure brands have been coming through like, oh, you've done 700 episodes. That's crazy.
Looks cool though.
Looks cool. I also got this because I feel, and correct me if I'm wrong, Roscoe, who's joining from the Diets Last Monday podcast, when you did your 100th episode, what happened?
I did light a cake as well.
Did you?
Yeah.
I thought you lost the recording.
Oh yeah, we did.
So the official 100th, you lost the recording.
Yeah, we did. We lost the recording and we were really, truly emotional and we got into it. And so it was a sad one to lose. And then you try to redo it, it's never the same.
It's never the same.
But we did also light a cake. So where you got that idea from?
Well, there you go. This is for us then.
Thank you.
So I was going to say we could put it out at the same time. That's
No. I think if Charles was here, he would be deserved of the blow.
But I'm just going to put it out and then we can get straight into the podcast because this was like a little round of applause, self appreciation.
No, yeah.
But also,
congrats.
Massive thank you to everyone that has supported the journey along because we have crossed over the 500 subscribers on YouTube. We're like actually starting to get a little bit of momentum.
Yeah.
Content seems to be doing pretty well. And that's only because excellent people listen and excellent people get involved. So massive thank you to everyone. This is for us, not
Congrats,
just
MindSets.
me and Roscoe. Thank you very much. So
You make a wish.
Oh,
you probably wish
I'm
Charles
put those out. The wish is that the fire alarm doesn't go off, to be honest.
Charles, I feel like I'm stealing your shine, but congratulations to both of you.
Thank you very much.
Episodes is a massive.
I'm sure he's watching at home with like that clenched fist meme because this cake is an orange and honey cake.
That is favorite.
Which sounds, I don't know if it's favorite, but I imagine it's probably going to be up there. Talking of up there, today we are going to commemorate the 100th episode by going through what we think are the absolute best sporting moments of history.
Yeah.
So I didn't give you much warning for this, but I didn't want to give you too much warning because I want the ones. I want the ones which are at the forefront of your mind. We've also had quite a few good submissions. And what that has resulted in is as we go through these, we're going to piss a lot of people off by saying what we think is better than others.
Yes, but now how do you want to do it? So are we going to talk about our top five? Are we going to go 1-1? Are we going from 5 to 1?
I think we should have a mutual discussion about what we think are these most impressive sporting moments. And then at the end of the episode, we will conclude on which we think is the best one.
So we're just going to be sharing.
I think we're just going to be sharing.
Okay.
Do you want to kick us off? I'm aware I've got a massively long list, but I'll let you start.
Okay, we can start. So now you're putting it, because now which one should I mention first? So it depends on the sport that you follow. And I think when I thought about this, I was like, right, so what sporting moments really influenced me? So whether that's actually turning on the sport, continuing to watch the sport, or I've been playing in the sport, like what really did I feel? I felt it. And then there's also the sports where it's changed history. So it's a part of history, but maybe I wasn't even alive at the time or I was super young. So I try to play between those two. And I think I'll start off with a big one. And it was actually Conor McGregor's 13-second knockout.
I wondered if this was going to
of Jose Aldo. Because at the time, Conor McGregor was obviously up and coming in the UFC and just changing the fight game completely. And what people don't really know, maybe if they don't watch the UFC, was Jose Aldo had like an unbeaten run of like a couple of years. He was one of the best in that weight division. And Conor was just making a fool of it. So like the whole fight talk he had just brought to light, like that hadn't really been before him. And Aldo just caved under the pressure. And it just kind of showed the mental game behind UFC fighting as well. But then when he came, there's a reel that always goes out of Joe Rogan talking about how calm Conor McGregor was in those first 13 seconds and how it looked like Jose Aldo, the moment had got to him. And literally he says those words and then Conor goes, blah, blah, blah. And then it's like all over.
Yeah.
I think that has to be one of the greatest sporting, at least combat fighting moments of all time. And for me, it was a big moment because I just got into UFC and MMA and watching it, and I followed Conor McGregor, and like, what's the story?
I think this is going to be really cool because I wanted to ask you, knowing that you had a different interest in sports and these different things, that certain things do transcend sport. But also, as you were saying, it's interesting to pick out if something's history defining or like sport defining. Or my thing was, is it a great sporting moment or is it a great sporting accomplishment? And they can cross over, but I think they're different.
Yeah. So this was a moment.
Yeah, for sure. So some of the ones I have written down, I went moment for the most part. I think my number one sporting moment was the first one I ever felt, like really, really felt, was Lewis Hamilton's first World Drivers' Championship win. Because for those that know it, it was the most outrageous finish to a race. So it was in Brazil. On the last lap, Lewis had found himself one position down from where he needed to finish to win the Drivers' Championship. He was like up against Felipe Massa, who was a great Formula One driver, who had done everything he could to take the title by winning that race.
Right.
So he'd crossed the line, and as far as he was concerned, and his team, Ferrari, and his family and everyone was concerned, he'd won the World Drivers' Championship. So they were all celebrating like mad. Hamilton, I believe, was in 6th or 7th, but needed to finish one position above. On that last lap, it was all gone. He'd done the best he could. It was wet weather, all sorts was going on. And then a driver called Timo Glock, who was racing for one of the slightly lower down teams, was ahead of Hamilton, just naturally was going to cross the line. His engine blew up on the second last corner.
Right.
And so the camera followed Felipe Massa crossing the line, and then it panned back to look where Hamilton was, and all you saw was Hamilton overtaking this car that was crawling along.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, the commentators' realization, everyone in the stands' realization, Lewis is now going to win if he just finishes. And he finished. And it was heartbreaking to see Massa's team, because Massa actually eventually came to nothing after.
And you're talking about the championship, not just the race. Yeah,
exactly. So he won the championship. Yeah. But the moment was Timo Glock's engine blowing up and seeing Hamilton go round him.
How old are you?
I think I'm struggling to remember when that was. For some reason in my head, it's like 2008. If it was around then, I would have been like 11, 12. But that was really my first, I think it was my second season following Formula One.
Yeah.
And I had watched every single race.
So that's interesting that you found Formula One like that, because a lot of people found it when Drive to Survive started.
My dad was heavily into Formula One.
Right.
So like even from a young age, Sundays were always written off because he was going to sit in front of the TV and, as my mother would say, watch paint dry.
Yeah.
But I would always like chill with him, probably fall asleep during the race, and then like figure out who won. And it was always Michael Schumacher, so I didn't find it that interesting.
Yeah.
But then when this, like, if you've seen the Cars film, the reason that I love the Cars film so much is because it kind of feels like what happened with Lewis Hamilton. Like he appeared on the scene and was just like unreal.
Well, do you think you just missed Michael Schumacher's point like
Definitely.
that? Yeah.
Exactly. So then I reckon my dad was watching Michael Schumacher the same way I've watched Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah.
So that for me was a really, really good one. But some of the other ones that I've written down, and I was going to make more of a point of the ones that I've written down, but there are so many good ones that other people have put in that we need to go over them.
Give us some guest ones.
Literally not that long ago, I think it was Super Bowl 51, Tom Brady was 28-3 down with the New England Patriots against the Atlanta Falcons. 28-3 down in the third quarter.
Yeah.
Pulled them back to win in overtime.
Yeah.
Unreal. But again, that's more than just a moment. That's like a game. So I couldn't put it in that list for me. A moment in American football is what I then went looking for. Two big ones stand out. The Seattle Seahawks were against the New England Patriots again a few years prior. I can't remember which one this was, but Seattle had the best player in the league, Marshawn Lynch. Huge guy, just runs people over.
Yeah.
Earlier in that season, Marshawn Lynch, or maybe the season before, but I think it was the same season, Marshawn Lynch ran what was called the Beast Quake. He used to go beast mode. That's where like beast mode kind of came from.
Right.
He ran through the entire team that he was playing against in this one run, bouncing off everybody, sidestepping everybody. And like, he's actually quite a big dude. So he was knackered by the time he got to the end zone. But it's called the Beast Quake because the Seattle stadium acoustically held in a lot of the noise. It was the loudest sporting moment that had ever been at the time because he was just like surprising everybody to the point where even like the away fans were like going crazy over how good this one was. So the Beast Quake. But Marshawn Lynch then finds himself at the end of the game 1 yard away from scoring a touchdown to win the game. Seattle decide to pass the ball.
Right.
So Malcolm Butler was playing for the New England Patriots. He was on their defense. He shouldn't have been on the field at the time. His team tried to take him off and rotate him off, but there wasn't enough time. He read the pass and intercepted it on like one of the last plays of the game
On the line.
to win the game for New England, when everyone on the entire Seattle Seahawks team thought Marshall Lynch was just going to be given the ball and walk in, because like no one's stopping him from 1 yard.
Right.
But that moment...
Was he the running back?
He was the running back. So that moment, Seattle passed the ball, interception, game over. Like New England won it from Malcolm Butler, not being on the field, but getting the win.
Yeah.
So that was another one from...
So have you got a lot of American football fans?
So... There's definitely quite a few, because I used to play with a bunch of them, and I miss them a lot, but they are nice enough to still listen. Hi guys. But then I kind of grouped those together as the American football ones.
Yeah.
But I've kind of done a bit more grouping.
Right.
Because if we go into football, soccer,
so many.
The first one, which was mentioned and people wrote in, was the Miracle of Istanbul.
Oh, this is good because I'm a Liverpool fan.
Okay. Well, do you want to explain this one then?
Yeah, because I, as the young chap that I was, turned off the TV at halftime.
Really?
And went to bed.
No.
And woke up.
You
the next
never
day.
turned the TV off.
I can't remember how old I was. I was like maybe grade 3.
Yeah.
I don't even think I was grade 3. I think so, like super young. What are we? Young teens. I think our schooling is different. But yeah, I remember going to school the next day and celebrating, but not really. Like in my soul, I was super sad because we were 3-0 down. But Steven Gerrard, I mean, another moment to do in conjunction with that is when he walked onto the pitch for the first time. They always show that video. And that's literally when I almost started watching football.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so that's why I supported Liverpool, because my dad worked for Reebok and it was Liverpool Bolton. But it was at that time when Steven Gerrard literally had come to start for Liverpool. And so like that was my journey in, and he was my guy. But yeah, Istanbul, like what an insane final. AC Milan were well favorites. Like Liverpool did not have a strong team. Steven Gerrard led with the header. I think it was it Xavi Alonso that scored the second? It was actually Haman that scored the second. And then I can't remember the third. I think it was a penalty.
So it was basically in the space of 15 minutes, Liverpool had come back from 3-0 down against arguably the best team in the world. 3-all.
Yeah.
To then go through extra time, make it to penalties in like one of the most outrageous penalty shootouts as well.
Well, Judic was the savior there, the keeper, because back then you could come off your line. And he came off like 5 meters off the line. And he was like doing this. They literally, the gap between him and the poles ended up being that big of science, when he comes forward.
Well, so this whole thing has been questioned and is like all over Google, because I was looking up the details to make sure if you didn't know, I know you're a Liverpool fan.
Yeah.
We could go into it. But this is potentially one of the best sporting moments of all time. It's up as number 1 on quite a few websites that I was looking through.
Yeah, I mean, rightly so. Rightly so. I think because if you look at AC Milan, Shevchenko, Kaká, they had that striker that scored twice. I can't remember his name.
Did they have Ronaldinho then as well?
No. But like they had the full defense, Nesta,
incredible. But the next that was on a list, the second one down on a website that had that as number 1.
So a website had that as number 1.
Had that as number 1. It was quite a football-based website. So some of the other football ones that we have. Where is it? We've got England women winning the Euros in 2022, which actually did make quite a lot of people cry, because not only did England finally win something,
they brought it home,
but it was England women who had always been leagues above in like everyone's opinion,
right?
Finally getting the job done, but also like in the fashion with the way that the goals were scored. Incredible win. Then do you know what George Grassley wrote him?
I love that.
George, for those that don't know, George won the marathon this year in the mass entry.
Incredible moment.
I thought he was going to put himself.
Yeah. Oh, he didn't.
He didn't.
I thought you were mentioning.
No. He didn't. He spoke about football. 2008 League Cup final. Tottenham beat Chelsea 2-1.
He's a Tottenham fan. That's very sad.
One, Tottenham fan. Yeah. So like we can throw this one out straight away. Second of all, they beat Chelsea and I'm a Chelsea fan. So definitely not going to be the best.
What was it like? The League Cup?
The League Cup final.
Talking about big sporting moments here, George.
What else did we have? The fact that Messi won the World Cup.
Yep.
That's, again, I don't think that's a moment obviously he won at a moment, but I don't think him winning the World Cup was one of the
That's
best
more of a
moments.
historic, history
Exactly.
changing, because also the Maradona hand, golden hand, touch
Yeah.
of God, whatever.
But I don't think that's a good one. That's a false one.
No, but I guess it's a historical.
Yeah. I think possibly the best football sporting moment that I have ever witnessed as well. Aguero scoring the last goal for Manchester City to win.
There's a statue.
I mean,
Literally.
the commentary is burned into my brain.
Yeah. The
Like,
commentary actually makes that more historic.
for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I don't think the Premier League's been won on such a close dial ever or since then. And they literally, I went to Man City Stadium. The statue is of Aguero waving his shirt.
And the beauty of it as well was the Man United fans streaming it in the stands at QPR.
Yeah.
Thinking again, a bit like the Lewis Hamilton thing, they'd done everything they could to win.
Yeah.
And then just madness.
But that was also Man City's first title.
First ever.
So it was like their first on that whole road.
Yeah.
Robert Mancini. Yeah.
So that's the football section. I don't know if you've got another one that you want to bring in before I go into another section.
Yeah.
Go on.
So I'll bring in another one, and we're going to mix up the sports a little bit. We're going to go individual sports. We're going to go golf.
Okay.
And this one's important, like meant a lot to me because I was watching it live, and this is something you would only be able to watch at 2 a.m. So the Masters 2019, Tiger Woods winning it again after not winning a major for 11 years, coming back from injury and all his DIYs and whatever.
DIY. You do it yourself, man. Not driving under the influence. He was just at home building shelves.
What do I mean?
DUI.
Yeah.
Driving under the influence.
He was just doing a lot of commenting. So that was really, really insane because I followed Tiger as a young golfer, won everything, and like his walk was just the way he walked through the fans after that last putt, like after everything he had been through, he came back and beat everyone again. That was quite a special moment. And it was the same way he hugged his dad that he hugged his son, in the same spot off the same green after winning his first Masters.
So I did a little golf section in my notes from people's submissions. So I had that as my pinnacle one as well. So I agree. I think that's arguably the best moment in golf history. But I also had Rory McIlroy finally winning at Augusta. And I also had Tiger on his chip-in hole 16, 2005 for his 4th green jacket. That, if you're wondering which one I'm talking about, you will have seen this. Doesn't matter if you're interested in golf or not. It's the classic bit where the ball sits on the edge of the hole with the Nike logo showing and then rolls in.
It was the greatest Nike ad of all time.
By far.
Yeah.
And just evidence that nobody that is like writing what an ad should look like is ever going to beat the beauty of sport.
But that was quite crazy. Like the way, I'm sure people have had crazier chip-ins. So like what makes that moment so much more special? Was it purely because of the way it was videoed?
Well, it was the final round as well. So like
he was in the red and black.
It's the 3rd from last hole. And at the time it was I can't remember who he was on the tee box with. And this is really tough because that is just further evidence that like if you come second, like you get forgotten.
Yeah.
But the guy who he was on the tee box with, he was having a really good back and forth with, and it was very, very tight. Tiger basically needed to get a momentum swing. Phil Mickelson.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't Phil. But needed a momentum swing. And I think on that hole, the guy who he was playing with put it pretty close to the pin, but parred out. And Tiger was...
But how important is commentary? Because like this is the 2nd time we've mentioned one of the biggest sporting moments of all time. And a lot has got to do with the commentary.
Yeah, I mean, that one, the shot itself, the ball rolls up onto the green, which gives the commentator a lot of time to build up the hype.
Yeah.
And then when the ball like pauses and then drops in, and it's oh wow, would you ever? Like
you'll never see anything like it.
Literally, and it's just that you're so right. That makes it what it is. Because like if I just saw that in silence and someone was like, excellent shot from Tiger Woods there, the ball just managed to creep in. It's like it's not the same.
Yeah, it's like motivational reels music. It's like all playing in my head now. Like you watch something without music, it's like there's nothing there. So I wonder how much that. Can you imagine being a commentator and like getting that right?
I'd love to know if we mention any sporting moment and someone listening to this has been at one of them. Can you tell us what it was like being there rather than having the commentary?
Interesting.
Because I can also imagine like from their perspective, the scenes of like the crowd
Yeah.
would also feel like it was the best thing ever. But they'll have both because they'll be able to watch it with the commentary,
But then have the
and
memory.
then have the memory of what it was like at one of these things.
So could you remember what is the most epic game you've been to or sporting moment live?
Yes, actually.
My Iron Man. I knew.
Yeah, literally. It's crazy. You didn't know. Oscar's done an ultra. He's done an Ironman. Yeah, the best thing I think I have ever seen was I was very, very fortunate in that my godfather's eldest son, I think, was ill, which meant that he called me up and he was like, if you can get here tonight, we'll take you to go and watch the rowing at the Olympics.
Oh, wow.
2012 Olympics.
Yeah.
I saw Great Britain's first gold medal at the British Olympics. And it was in the rowing. It was I can't remember the actual race name, but it was 2 women. And it was a nail-biting finish. But they crossed the line. And I don't think anyone realised at the time that they had just witnessed the first gold medal on British soil.
Right.
For about like 2 seconds, because it came up and we were like celebrating that like GB had won.
Right.
And then it was like, oh my God. And it was just incredible. Like the entire grandstand that I was in, the other side, everyone was just going crazy. And I think they also realised as well.
Can you YouTube it like that moment?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
That one, to my recollection, I don't think I watched with commentary, so I can't be the person to be like, oh, it was. But I know from being there,
it was
the
epic.
atmosphere was absolutely incredible. I'm trying to think of other moments. I saw Fulham have a fantastic game against Bristol Rovers when I was younger, but it didn't really mean much. It was just one of the rounds in the FA Cup. No, there's not too much.
Yeah, like I got a couple of cool school ones where we like came back and rugby, but yeah, not like major sports.
No. In terms of other sports I have watched, and I'm sure you've watched a lot, cricket.
Cricket. Well, I hope you've got the South African one on there.
I'd left this one for you, knowing full well.
Well, actually, to be fair, I thought about it now, and now I don't have the stats.
I've got a South
Have you got the
African
stats of it?
No. But you, go on.
No, you go.
Well, I was going to say a rogue one, which I have put down,
right,
was the impossible ball. Shane Warne.
Yeah.
He bowled a spin ball.
Yeah.
That landed so far out.
Yeah, I think I remember it.
It was already being called wide by the umpire, and it ripped in and took off thumb.
Yeah.
And it was genuinely the game, the cricket world stood still, watching the replay, trying to figure out what the hell just happened. And even to this day, rest in peace, Shane Warne, but even to this day, no idea how on earth he managed to do that.
Yeah.
And I'm also somewhat confused, like he was a glitch in the Matrix.
It could have been like, it had a lot to do with his ball and the pitch and the weather.
Yeah.
And
it was, again, all of those things together.
And the batsman standing the way that he did. Who was that against? South Africa?
No.
So I had to...
I can't remember.
I had to get this up because I couldn't remember the exact number and I didn't want to get it wrong. But the other South African one is the 438 game. So Australia posted the highest score ever recorded on an ODI, 437. And South Africa went out to bat and got 438 and beat them. So double record, one game. Graham Smith batted with a broken hand. Herschel Gibbs had probably had a lot of dops the night before. Like, it was epic.
I would argue probably one of the hardest wins. When you go in knowing you've got to go and get a record to win, and then you do it. One of the hardest wins. However...
Is the pressure not off, though? Because...
Yes and no.
It's all or nothing.
Because, like, yeah, that's fair. But also, like, the pressure's on. You don't want to be a total embarrassment. You don't want to get bowled out for 90.
Yeah.
You've got to come close. In any ODI, like, you want to be within, I'd say, probably 25% of their runs. Yeah. If you're going to lose. Like,
I think what made it so epic was both teams had very good players at the time.
Yeah.
Like, there wasn't an unbalance. Like, there was Adam Gilchrist and Ricky Ponting and everyone in Australia. You had Herschel Gibbs, Graham Smith, Sean Park. Like, both teams were pretty peak at the time, which made it even more epic.
So I'm obviously, you went down the South Africa route. I am going to go down the England route for cricket. So we're going to talk first.
Makes sense.
Yeah. We're going to talk first about the famous Super Over when we were up against New Zealand in the World Cup.
Which World Cup?
Was it?
2019.
2019. Yes. 2019. Unbelievable producing there. 2019. Thank you. So We were in the World Cup final,
Yeah.
and it was the first time a super over had ever been needed in cricket World Cup history.
Yeah, because I was going to ask you how long ago was that, because super overs are decently new.
Yeah. So for those that aren't aware, a super over is an extra over. You go out there and you try and score as many runs as possible, and then you swap over and the other team does it.
Yeah.
So we sent out Jason Roy and Josh Butler. Wait, hold on. I'm gonna read this out rather than try and picture it. Okay. So the two teams were tied at 241 runs at the end of the match, which resulted in the first ever super over as a tiebreaker. On the final ball of New Zealand's super over, after equaling the 15 runs that England managed in their over, Martin Guptill attempted to score the winning run, but was run out by Jason Roy and Josh Butler, meaning that the super over was also tied. England won on the boundary countback rule, having scored 26 boundaries to New Zealand's 17 across the entire game, thus becoming the Cricket World Cup winners for the first time. It was the first time a one-day international final match required a super over, and subsequently the first and only time it had been decided by a boundary count. The match has been described as one of the greatest and most dramatic in the history of sport, with some analysts describing it as the greatest match in the history of cricket.
Is that when Ben Stokes got hit with the cricket ball while he was running?
It's a great question. I
Because that
think
was-
it was the same year.
Yeah.
It was just controversial in that.
So that's
thing.
interesting, because now super over goes again.
Yeah.
I know that because South Africa against Afghanistan in the last Cricket World Cup, they went twice.
Yeah.
They went 3 times.
I wonder who would have won in boundary countback.
I don't know. I have no idea.
You could have just guessed. And
Yeah,
probably
South Africa
50-50.
probably.
Yeah, South Africa probably would have. However, this was trumped by someone's own submission. So someone submitted this,
Right.
and then they sent another one in, and they were like, actually, forget what I said. But because other people had mentioned that, I thought I'd mention that. We're now going to talk about another cricket game. Ben Stokes playing the greatest test innings in cricket history
Yeah.
on August 25th, 2019. So he went and scored an unbeaten, so 135 runs, not out. And it took us to a miraculous win with 1 wicket over Australia in the 3rd Ashes Test at Headingley in Leeds. So for match context, England were bowled out for 67 in their first innings.
Yeah.
Terrible. Then Australia set a daunting target of 359 runs to win the 4th innings.
Yeah.
England slumped to 286 for 9, still needing 73 runs with only 1 wicket remaining, and we won the game. Ben Stokes.
I must have been watching, but
It was incredible. Go back and
I'm
with
just
like
watching it.
goosebumps as he's just like.
Did you win the whole
Did it?
Ashes?
Probably
not.
God. No.
Classic English.
I'm waiting for producer Halo potentially to come in and correct me, but I don't think we won the Ashes. So if it doesn't come,
Yeah.
I've honestly been looking at so many things because we got so many submissions. Okay.
It's quite cool that you got a lot of engagement from your.
Yeah, but what was really
by the
cool,
way.
we won the test, actually. We stayed alive in the series.
But did you win the series?
1 second. This is exquisite. This is the secrecy of podcasting.
Fuck.
No, we didn't. Yeah. It was one of the most embarrassing. Yeah, I do actually remember this. 'Cause I
Yeah.
remember keeping track of it and just being constantly embarrassed, apart from that one time.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is evidence, by the way, to the fact that if you've thought about doing a podcast, even at 100 episodes in, I'm still not prepared for my own podcast. So just do one.
I mean, we could do a whole podcast on what it takes to do 100 episodes, but that's for
Do
another
you know what we should do? We should potentially just book a podcast and not plan anything and see what happens.
Yeah, well, I think we've got the know-how to rap a bit.
Basically what we're doing today, isn't
Yeah.
it?
I mean, I message Angus once a week to pry about our podcasts.
I've got a few more that are quite rogue submissions that I want to mention while we're on some like different things that you might not have been aware of. Jasmine Paris winning the Barkley Marathon.
Right.
Barkley Marathon is arguably the hardest ultra marathon in existence. It's super, super exclusive. You don't know the course you're running until the time that you're doing it. Ultimately, the way that it works is you're given pages out of a book and you have to run to the next. You have to run laps and you change direction each time you run the course. And each time you run to the furthest point of the course,
Yeah.
you get a new page.
Right.
So then you're collecting pages and that decides how many laps you've done, but you can only have done it if you've run the distance, so you can't cheat. But it is over the most outrageous terrain.
Where?
It's in, I think, North America somewhere. I think that's also relatively kept quiet.
Right.
But the thing with the Barkley Marathon is that it just gets harder and harder each year, because in order to finish, the course gets more. So if someone finishes it, the course gets harder next year.
Yeah.
So it's really worth watching. There's a documentary about Paris winning.
Okay. On that note, there's also Rachel that won the Cocodona 250 that I didn't even think about it. Big sporting moment. First woman to ever win the whole race.
So that was the same. So Jasmine was the first woman to win.
Yeah.
But it was outrageous. Well, it was outrageous. Technically speaking, 5 people finished the Barkley Marathon that year, I believe. And she was 5th, but she got it done in like the last minute, because I think it's a 24-hour race.
Right.
So the whole point is you have to finish 5 laps within 24 hours.
Right.
So it was done. And as a result, it was made harder. No one's won it since. No one's finished it since.
Wow.
So if you won it in, I don't know, I can't remember how long it's been going for, but if you won it in 2020 versus the people that won it in 2025, you didn't win that.
Right.
Because it's got so much harder.
Oh, right.
Which is kind of cool. It's kind of the law about it. It's cool. On top of the running ones, another woman that's very much worth mentioning is Paula Radcliffe's World Record Marathon.
Yeah.
Because it stood for, I think, 27 years.
Yeah.
With old technology. We've mentioned it before on this podcast, but like, it's just insane.
Yeah.
I
mean, old technology, we're just talking about running shoes.
So, controversial take here. We saw Sebastian Sawe break the 2-hour marathon this year. Crazy. Unbelievable. Again, generational sporting moment. I think Kipchoge's sub-2 was more of was a better sporting moment.
Why?
Because he was the first person to do it.
But he was the first person to do it with controlled circumstances.
Completely agree. But he did it 6 years earlier. And he still ran 42.21 kilometers.
But I think Sebastian actually can go quicker, and he's just phasing it.
Quite possibly. But I also think, in a funny sort of way, Sebastian doing it, and we spoke about this last time together, but the guy that came second, again, another example, we struggled twice with the guy's name because he came second. But he also did it at the same time, which almost lessens the achievement.
Sure.
For me, slightly. But the fact that, Kipchoge
but it enhances the fact that I think he can go quicker because he held back to that point. But you're right, in terms of sporting moment, Kipchoge put the thought in everyone's head that it was possible 6 years ago.
Exactly. And broke the barrier, really.
He broke the barrier that anyone thought would be possible. So sure, from a sporting moment, because it was all planned and they worked towards that target and like all that. So it was like a whole thing, and then bang.
And similarly, so I still stand by. I think that's a controversial take, but
because no one was talking sub-2 before the London Marathon.
No,
it just happened.
Yeah, and well, I mean,
except maybe Adidas.
London's supposedly like quite a fast marathon course.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh yeah, I was super fast.
Minutes behind them, I had. But I don't think anyone on the day, because it was so hot. As well, really factored in that it was realistic.
But there must have been talks about it because Adidas released the shoes like the morning of. So like there were plans.
They do it every year.
Is it?
Every year they hope. And I mean, you look at that from the standpoint of,
but you're telling me Sebastian never wore those shoes before that day?
Oh, he definitely would have.
Yeah.
The rule is, I believe, that the shoe has to be commercially available and has to have been
for them to run in it.
Subjected, for it to be an official marathon time.
Yeah.
So, they were released that day, but they had been listed. I think it's got to be listed, or there's some funny rule about it being a certain amount of time before a record is broken.
I think what's going to make that moment more or less special is time, because now with the other marathons, let's see what the times are.
Yeah.
Are they just going to get faster and faster, or is no one going to break 2 again for 6 years?
Well, this is another interesting point when it comes to the equipment, because if lots of people start wearing that shoe and lots of people start going sub-2, are we going to be in a moment where we go, is it the shoe? Because similarly I think it was the Beijing Olympics in 2008, when Michael Phelps was just like, he'd get in the pool and break a world record and take a gold medal home. And then they banned the super suit for swimming, because they just deemed that this is way too beneficial.
Yeah.
Are we potentially going to see actually the ring design of the carbon plate is banned.
Get removed.
And all of a sudden, does the sub 2 stand?
I mean, yeah, that's interesting because it could be like Radcliffe's world record that stands for 27 years, even with shoe enhancements. Because like, how much lighter can the shoe get before we start wearing socks that have...
But that's the thing, is like that shoe design with because everyone always knows a carbon plate to be like foot shaped inside a shoe, and that's not.
Yeah.
So for a while they've been playing with like the kind of shape that looks a little bit like fingers with rods.
Yeah.
And they've understood like, okay, we can be a bit more specific with where the elastic is in that. And then they went for this ring with some rods in it as well.
Yeah.
And like, again, it's just optimization until they found something that really clearly does work. And that's not to like pull away from the achievement of the speed of running for all of the runners that are right there.
Yeah.
But there could this is a thing that we could see. And like ultimately for me, it's gonna kind of show in Valencia, when it's arguably again the fastest course for marathon running, if 5 or 6 people run sub 2.
Yeah.
And
that's going to be super
all
interesting.
but one of them are in the same shoe.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, if one of them is not in the same shoe, then it's probably fine. But if they're all in the same shoe,
if it's all the shoe,
if it's all that shoe, then I think there could be a problem.
Yeah. That's
but yeah, another running one to mention that we had submitted was obviously Roger Bannister breaking the 4-minute mile.
Yes.
Timeless.
Does Josh Kerr's 1 mile go in there?
I think
too soon.
No, I think it's incredibly impressive because again, it was another very long-standing world record.
Yeah.
But I think the 4-minute mile had been decided a bit like the sub 2 marathon. It was decided that it was impossible. No one can run sub 4.
Yeah.
And then he did it, and then everyone else did it.
Yeah.
And like there's still the argument of like, well, he just was first, and people did it months after, and like, so it was going to happen.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, but it still takes someone to do it for everyone else to believe it is possible. And he was the first person to do it.
Yeah.
We're still in search of the first woman to do it, but I don't know if I said this.
You did, yeah. That's
I think they're alive.
Yeah, yeah.
The person who's going to do it is alive.
Yeah. I mean, it's broad.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that gives me a solid buffer. I've got a lot more episodes. I mean, I've done 700 now. Yeah. So by the time this kicks accurate, maybe that, imagine.
Can you imagine?
699 episode, that happens. We had a submission from a previous guest of yours.
Ooh.
Archibald.
Oh, of course.
So this was actually a fantastic submission.
Oh, good.
Kona, 1982.
Interesting.
Ironman.
Yeah.
Julie Moss, Crawl of Fame.
Why don't I know about this?
So I had to look this up.
I should.
I had to look this up. So Julie Moss.
Crawl of Fame.
Yeah, she came second in that race. And obviously incredible achievement.
Yeah.
But her body gave up, like absolutely gave up. She hit the deck with 15 feet left.
Yeah, it's the heat.
And she dragged herself across the line from 50 feet. No one touched her. But the really cool thing about it, as I was reading it, is she has written articles and talked about it a lot. She says that 15 feet changed her life because first of all, she was finishing second. She wasn't going to win.
Yeah.
She didn't lose because of that, but she decided that she was just going to do anything she had to do to get to the line. But because of the fact that she was crawling, obviously the world and his wife got an opportunity to support, document it, like film it, everything.
Well, 1982.
1982.
So I wonder, it's not filmed. Is it available on YouTube? That's
well, there's photos of it.
Was Archie alive?
No, Archie wasn't alive.
I'm wondering how Archie found.
But this again, if you're interested in endurance sports, there's obviously a higher chance that you know about this, especially if you're keen on like if you've got a keen eye for triathlon, because this would have come up at some point.
Yeah.
But like, she dragged herself 15 feet. Never fully got off the floor. Like literally.
I must watch that. Can you bring it up on the screen, Joe?
We're not paying them enough for that. But yeah, it was like a huge life-changing moment, but it was a sport-changing moment.
Yeah.
And she was the hero of that.
Yeah, that's
especially
cool.
within women's sport as well. Like,
well, women triathlon, because back then, I mean, triathlon's still trying to find its feet.
Exactly. But this also was huge for Ironman because it was the first time that Ironman, especially with a woman, had a a global newsworthy story that was just phenomenal. And no one was ever going to look at that and be like,
yeah.
Because also Iron Man at the time was still so absurd. Like, it is still absurd.
Yeah.
But at the time, what the hell?
Yeah,
like, most people didn't even know it was a competition, let alone someone who's doing it and still able to drag themselves across the line at the end for second place. So very impressive and a very good submission. So
that is a good submission.
I've got a few more. I'm looking through my list here. Usain Bolt's 100-meter world record.
Yep. I had that there as well.
I think one of the worst moments in my sporting spectating career was the World Championships that followed the 2008 Olympic Games, because everyone had always seen Usain Bolt like cruise to wins. He broke that world record with his shoelace untied, all of that. So I was thinking, what we need is a proper effort. Like, we need him to go 100% for that 100 meters. And he promised that at these world champs that were, I believe it would make sense for it to be 2010, which was in Barcelona.
Right.
He was going to give everything. He lines up, full starts, red card straight out. And I was livid. I was obviously annoyed at him. He was obviously annoyed. He didn't even try to disguise it. He just ripped his shirt off and like got really mad about it. But I was just so livid at the system where it's like one full start is a red card. And I was like, I get it. I do. But like, give the guy a chance. He's about to change history. And like,
why is it different? Because
why would you use a card system if it goes straight to red? But I think it's because it's the final or something. But
I actually watched some videos on Usain Bolt's earlier part of his career the other day, and like, he wasn't winning all the time. It was coming like fifth, fourth. Like, it's like one of those things where you work for 20 years to become an overnight success, and he rocks that one world record, and then he's the greatest ever from then on.
And what I hate, being so cynical, is that I watch so much stuff with sport and I'm like just in complete awe. And then as I've grown up and I've been more immersed in the space, I'm now like, how did they find a way around the drugs test? If they went from like fifth, fourth, third, first, world record, first, that's the worst thing about it. Is like, I have seen people get really fit and figure it all out. And then I still look at some of the best things and I'm like, was that completely legitimate? Because it's so crazy. Like, I think we've had people come close to his world record time. I think we've had like a high 0.6 or a low 0.7, but no one's getting close to the 0.5s. And I remember as a kid reading a book saying it is physically impossible for someone to run faster than, I think, 9.5 or 9.4 or something. So in my head, like, hopefully you'll see that. It's to do with the reaction time. And then it's also to do with human mechanical top speed, and how long it would have to be held for would mean that the acceleration phase is like 5 meters. But like, we're pretty close. So and that's also another thing that annoyed me with that whole red card system is, did you know that the shotgun and the full start system within athletics is based off conceivable reaction time? So if you did guess it, and you happen to guess it, and you were 0.01 milliseconds off when it actually went, you'd get full started because it was impossibly quick. I think that's wrong.
It's tough.
Like, give him a red card then. But like, if someone wants to break a world record, they're going to guess the start.
You got to
let them do it.
You got to
let them.
So this is one of the circumstances where someone's going to go for a world record like Kipchoge did, where it's a controlled environment. And you don't have to wait for the gun. Like, the clock starts when you go.
But I also think that, like, let's say it is the Olympic final and someone is like, I'm going to break the world record, but I obviously need every millisecond I can get. So I'm going to have to guess the gun time. So I'm going, and if it comes up on the computer system, he reacted and was off the block 0.01 seconds after the gun, like, clapped.
Well, this is interesting. Is the gun time an exact 3 seconds after a certain time?
No. So it's when they fire the gun noise, that's the start.
So there's no, like, they can't go, okay, from this point it's 2 seconds.
No.
So it's not perfect.
So I mean, it's, I can't remember, I don't think it's down, but it's like on your marks, set, and then the set can last for ages.
Okay, so it's not perfectly aligned.
No.
So you can't say, right, 1 Mississippi, 2
And
Mississippi.
I was fortunate enough. Last week I was at Birmingham Athletics.
Yeah.
For the European Champs.
Yeah.
And that was something I would massively notice, because it's actually great if you haven't been to an athletics thing, like day, go and watch one, because there's so much stuff to look at. If you've got ADHD, it's perfect, because you can sit there and you can watch the pole vault,
Right.
and then you can watch 100-meter hurdles, and then you can watch the hammer throw, and you can just like move your eyes from one thing to the next, like constantly all day.
Yeah.
I was sat in a chair for 4.5 hours, didn't move, stood up, felt like I was an old man because everything had seized up.
Yeah.
But I'd just been watching sport endlessly.
Yeah.
But on the point of the start sound, so when they set this thing off, sometimes they have to wait for one of the other events to like conclude. So, because you don't want to have people clapping or put anything off. So there was one point we were waiting for a long jump to finish, but the long jumper was waiting for the pole vault, but we had 8 people in the blocks after on your marks, just waiting for ages. And I think it was like 45 seconds, and they were like, okay, relax.
Yeah.
And then they had to wait 2 minutes for pole vault to finish again. And then they got back to it. But then it was on the gun, but it's not consistent. So basically, I want to see world records where people have to take the risk if they want to jump the start, in a way.
So just to go back to sporting moments, you made me think of one when we were talking about drug testing there.
Ooh.
One of the biggest sporting moments of all time was Lance Armstrong on Oprah Winfrey's show. That moment when he was like, I was. She was like, were you on performance enhancing drugs? I was. Bang.
I was on all of them. All of them.
Yeah. I think that's a whole nother discussion with Tour de France
but yeah, you're right. That is actually a huge sporting moment. It's not a good one.
Yeah.
But it's huge for sport generally, because it was finally this admission of someone that was God within a sport being like, yeah, no, I'm actually not.
Yeah.
Like, I'm actually really, really good at this because I'm better than everyone else that's also doing it.
Well, that's the thing.
But I can't really tell you that they're doing it because they're not sat here saying that they're doing it.
Yeah. But now they're saying that
in 20 years' time, guess what? It's going to be cool to talk about how you're on gear.
And now they do. Some of the coaches at the Tour de France say, yeah, we wish we had the 2 a.m. wake up for the drug testing because that would have cancelled 25 years of disaster.
But there's also so many of them that are like, yeah, I was. And like, he was just so much better than everyone.
Yeah.
It's like, well, why didn't you come out and protect him a little bit?
So this is where it's like, does Tadic know that 7 is the record to break and not 5?
Yes, he does. I think everyone. It's the same as, again, going back to Lewis Hamilton. Like, Lewis Hamilton wants that 8th Drivers' World Championship officially, so he can be the best versus Michael Schumacher.
So he still needs one.
He still needs one. Have you? I don't know if anyone follows him on Instagram. His Instagram's actually pretty rogue.
Right.
He can post whatever he wants.
Yeah.
Because he's got millions of followers.
Yeah.
And like, obviously it's going to do well. But like, he does sometimes film and put stuff up that you will also scroll and find an account of someone that has been unemployed for 5 years and just puts up their gym session. It's filmed the same way.
Right.
But like, all the comments are like, bro's locked in for his 8th. And it's like, poor Jez, 1238X, who's also posting the same workout on Instagram, is getting hate. But no, like, I think like this season, he's obviously got like a relatively competitive car.
Yeah.
And he feels like behind the wheel, he can actually do something with it. So yeah, he's going for it, and that will officially stamp him. And do you know what? I would put it out there and say that with the way that technology is now and the way that the sport is done, the sport is controlled by money.
Yeah. It's
always been controlled by money, but to a point now with salary caps and cost caps and everything, I don't think anyone will ever come close to 8 World Drivers' Championships.
Again.
Ever. No. And like, I'm sure people said that about Schumacher and 7, but because the sport is now
fallen off a bit of a cliff.
The cars have to be equal to a certain amount. Verstappen has honestly said like he's not that bothered. But yeah, the cars have to be quite similar. There's a cost cap.
Yeah.
So back in the day when Michael Schumacher was driving Ferrari and Mercedes had by far the biggest budgets. So they could almost guarantee that they were going to win because they had more money than everyone else. Whereas now there is a limit on spending. And we saw that Red Bull went over it and they've been penalized for it. But like, it is going to start changing the sport to the fact that a driver is only going to be able to stay in his seat as long as he is performing well. If they have one bad year for the car, there's a high likelihood that either that driver loses his seat or has lost the chance to do 8 World Drivers' Championships. So yeah, I think that would be arguably the biggest sporting moment for Formula One if Hamilton can get his 8th.
Yeah, that'd be sick. I'm watching on the side. Let's not get
Does that ruin it?
There's no time for that discussion.
Yeah, no, there's not. I'm just having a look through to see what else I've got written down here.
So how do you want to phase the end there? Because I haven't told you two of my biggest ones.
I'd like you to tell me your biggest ones.
Okay.
I think I need that.
So
yeah, now.
In terms of like right now.
Like right now.
Okay. Can I have a piece of cake first? No. So top two, I think another one that was one that I was able to watch and witness for a long period of time. So sporting moment, this was a long moment, but Leicester City winning the Premier League.
Mm-hmm.
I think that moment when the manager, Claudio Ranieri, brought out the blind opera singer to the field after they had won, and like the whole Leicester stadiums and the fans, they're all standing there and this like opera singer sings, and they've just pulled off the biggest Premier League win of all time. Like, how crazy is that? And then this Italian guy brings an opera singer, and like the crowd's kind of like ruining it a little bit because like people are like, what's going on? But like insane.
Leicester winning the Premier League that year was just absurd.
It was like insane to watch because they were 5,000 to 1 at the beginning of the season. They had just skipped relegation the season before, and then you just had Jamie Vardy and like Mahrez just feel like, you know what, fuck this shit.
It's just wild that, especially Jamie Vardy at that point in his life, like he'd always actually been pretty good at football. Like there's a documentary series on him. He was always good, but like for the level he was at, he wasn't like Premier League level when he was playing non-league football.
And it wasn't like the rest of the teams in the season did badly.
No,
they were beating everyone.
But it was really cool to see a player of Jamie Vardy's age just be like, I think I'm just going to be at the best at this now. Like, I think I'm just going to be the best.
And it's going to be now.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
And so that story in
itself...
itself...
broke a consecutive goal record as well.
Yeah, but that story in itself, paired with the fact that it brought Leicester so much success.
Yeah.
And then the thing that was kind of sad, but also underlined how sweet it was that after that season, the whole thing just disbanded. Like all the players got signed elsewhere and they all went...
Yeah, a classic. Yeah. And shame, the owner of the club died in a helicopter crash.
Yeah.
So like it was kind of like a stumbling. Are they? And they're not even in the Premier League.
They're now relegated now.
Yeah. So that's quite crazy.
Blast from the past is what I looked at. But also like, don't even get me started on the helicopter situation.
Yeah.
I was studying aerospace engineering at the time.
Interesting.
Just down the road because Leicester's right next to Loughborough.
Interesting.
And I remember having multiple discussions with people on my course because we were studying helicopters at the time. And my dad, who knew about this as well, if you're ever getting in a helicopter that's in a stadium, stupid. Don't do it. Brief thing, because I know this is a severe tangent to the podcast.
Yeah, it's interesting.
But helicopter push air down. Air in normal field, go out. Helicopter go up. In stadium, helicopter push air down. Air hit walls of stadium, go up. Helicopter suck air down. You get circles there.
Right.
Helicopter starts going up. Any movement from its position, suddenly the airspeed that it sucks down will suck it. And like it just will get moved around by its own wind that it's already pushed around.
Right.
It's so unstable to take off in an enclosed environment.
So why did they get that so wrong?
Because they've done it enough times and it is done quite often. But
that is what can go wrong.
Yeah. It is like helicopters are relatively safe, but
well, you also have
I
LeBron.
just don't like it.
I mean, LeBron.
Hopefully not.
Kobe.
Not another one. Yeah.
Because that was just, I think, conditions. Eh?
That was conditions, but again, I don't know. Like, I think there's better ways of getting around. Just get an Uber, man.
Yeah.
Just get an Uber.
Okay, so I have one more, which is my biggest one.
I've got one more.
And it's the 1995 Rugby World Cup.
Ooh, okay.
South Africa won the World Cup.
I was hoping you were going to bring this up because there's a whole film about it.
Yeah. And obviously that's a monumentous occasion for the whole country because we'd just come out of apartheid. And so that win, I think, was one of the most historical sporting moments of all time.
I agree. I think we said very early on there are certain things that transcend sport.
Yeah.
That transcended politics, sport, national history, international history. And that ultimately, again, fully deserved a film. And like the film was great. I've watched it so many times. But Yeah, I completely agree that is definitely up there.
I almost wish I was a little bit older to
Really?
appreciate it.
I get that.
I was 2 years old.
Yeah, you definitely would have been.
Yeah.
I'm sure you weren't like enjoying it or understanding the relevance of Jonah Lomu.
Yeah.
And this one doesn't transcend in the same way. So I'm not saying it's better.
So it's super boring.
I'm saying it was outrageous. So
Ping pong championships,
basketball, NBA.
Right.
I'm just going to start reading this. The Warriors against the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Warriors finished the regular season 73-9, breaking an NBA record. So 73 wins to 9 losses.
Right.
They were considered favorites to repeat the title, having previously won in 2015 against the Cavaliers. So they'd match up in the final again. This is now 2016. The Warriors won 3 of the first 4 games and led 3-1 before the underdog Cavaliers bounced back by winning 3 straight games to clinch the title. The finals, while also ending they won the NBA finals, which ended a 52-year championship drought among major professional sports leagues in Cleveland. So 52 years, Cleveland had not won a thing.
Yeah, but LeBron was in the team.
So it marked the first finals since 1978 that a Game 7 was won by the road team as well. And James's performance in the series, which included a clutch block in Game 7 on Andre Iguodala, and it's been considered one of the greatest finals of all time, just because the other thing that happened in there was so much beef back and forth. Another spin-off thing that happened after that game in the parking lot, they spoke to one of the managers or heads at Warriors. One of the players called up and was like, "We need Kevin Durant." Kevin Durant was playing for Oklahoma and had just lost narrowly to the Warriors in the semifinals.
Right.
They called him up. He was like, "I'm on my way." And then they won the next 2, and KD got MVP in those next 2 finals. My guy. I see him down the pub all the time.
My guy.
Yeah.
Really?
But that was no, absolutely not. But that was another incredible sporting thing. And you know what? I thought I was going to go through this and pick one, and I really can't.
There's too many. That's why sport's so great and so range and broad.
We didn't mention
anything about Michael Jordan. We didn't mention anything about,
Well, I was surprised you didn't mention
tennis.
No, in triathlon last year, injury, fighting all the way back to the win in London, T100, wasn't it?
Yeah. Who?
What? New Zealand.
Oh no.
This is really bad from us.
I know you're talking about. Yeah. It'll come to me.
But that's impressive in itself, and that didn't even make it into the discussion.
No, but we're talking about like sporting moments of all time.
Yeah. Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, we're getting close to the end of the episode. I didn't bring a knife for this cake, but we do need to tell everyone how it tastes. So I have just tried to use a number to cut that, and the wood has broken off. So there's wood in the cake now, which isn't really the way.
This might be the greatest sporting moment of Mindset podcast.
If I throw it into your mouth.
Please no.
Guys, if you are listening and this is your first time listening, then that's an incredible choice. But if this isn't, and you aren't subscribed and you aren't following on social media, please, just for the sake of it being 100, go over there, subscribe to everything, tell a friend about it, because I hope that by the time we are at 700, that we have a much bigger cake, and that we're doing some really, really cool things. I'm going to give you a tiny piece, but it's got the icing on it.
Give us 100 likes on YouTube.
Imagine that. Episodes. That would actually be huge. That's a good target. I like that. Okay, I've made a mess. Cheers to 100 episodes.
I like it.
Honey and orange. Wow, that's actually really good. I've also got this for you. So for those of you that are listening, will have seen I'm wearing a t-shirt that says Athel on it. So we mentioned in a podcast a few episodes back, I run Athel House, which is a media, essentially, it's not an agency. It's a much better way of doing media within the sports framework. It does mean Athlete House. Do you want to open it up?
Yes.
And show everybody?
So I called it an elevator. I was literally joking.
He literally stepped in the elevator. He was like, nice t-shirt. When am I getting one? And I just laughed awkwardly.
No, well, you did. You sold me. I'm like, obviously not good.
But it's not a clothing brand, but I need something to wear when I'm on shoots.
Thank you.
So I have gone and got that. And then on the back, I'm going to show everybody Ethel House. So if you wear that,
it's on the market.
you're officially not. I mean, if they can be, if people want.
So
But
House.
You're an official client, and you've been a huge supporter of the whole thing. So I wanted to say thank you for that.
I'm a massive fan.
Yeah, the one other person that I was going to give one to earlier today, I couldn't give them it because they are sponsored by Nike and cannot wear it because it's not Nike branded.
Oh wow!
So I'm going to have to get Nike printed. But I mean, Nike, if they want to sponsor the podcast as well, then we can do some mindset stuff.
No,
as well.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. You guys are killing it. 100 episodes. Big fan. Mindset podcast. Big fan of everything you're doing. Athlete House. So keep going.
We haven't done a single Grind My Gear. We haven't done the news in this episode, but it's not about that. So guys, if you have Grind My Gears, please send them in for the next episode. We will be back with the news very shortly. We've actually got ahead on some recordings at the moment. So show business as well gives me a chance to catch up on the news because sport has slowed down too much recently.
Yeah.
So we'll be back for episode 101. Crazy thing to say.
701.
But thank you very much, Roscoe. Obviously, if you guys are listening to this, you like the sound of his voice, I do. Go over to Diet Starts Monday pod on Instagram, and everything will be in the description. So if you're lazy, just scroll down and
we'll
tap it.
collab on everything.
Yeah, of course.
Cool.
Thank you so much.
All good.
And we'll see everybody in the next episode.
Bye.